Hey folks, this is G from Beatskillz. Hope all of you are doing fabulous. Now, I suppose many of you are like me who are musicians and mixers. So we tend to make our own music and also mix our own music. Now, while we are in this process, we need to keep consistent with our inspiration and workflow, right? We don't tend to want to break from that, reaching out for tools at the time of creation, right? But we also want our sounds to sound really good at the point of laying them down so that we actually have an idea of the final picture that's going to emerge in our musical arrangement. Now, for this kind of an approach, I tend to compare it to cooking in some ways, whereas in you light the stove and you put the pan on there and then you put the olive oil and then suddenly you realize, oops, I forgot to get the ingredients, and you rush to the fridge to get that marinara sauce. Now, what that does is basically, of course, distracts you and you might end up burning the oil or the onions in the pan. So keeping the ingredients together is one of the important things that I tend to do. Although there are certain kind of plugins and tools which are very detailed and enhanced, and they have their space. Of course, in certain cases, you need that clinical tool for going and using all the controls to fine tune in certain areas and correct some problems. But many of the cases where you're actually mixing your own music, you know what you're making, and you want the tools to enhance the sound and without having the need to go too deep, or sometimes going deep might be completely unnecessary. So for such a thing, we've made a tool called SlamXL. SlamXL is basically our all-in-one, bus pattern or mix processor, which does all of that for you and has all of the key ingredients that you might need, which come with various chains of plugins. Now, this is basically the third iteration of our Slam series, Dawg, which started our company basically, and we are here 4 years later with the third version of this plugin, where we've been enhancing and adding more things. So being a musician, I know what is needed. My ear tells me that, I need a tool which can do this, and I wish I had, process which would speed up a certain, part of my workflow. And hence, by applying myself, that's the kind of tools I make to help myself. But then I realize there are other people like me who might enjoy that tool. So SlamXL is one such tool. Now in SlamXL, as you can see, it has a proper EQ section, right? It's got all the bands in there. It's got a low-cut filter. Then we have the saturation section where there are 6 saturations. So I've pretty much covered ground from, crispy kind of saturation to more filling kind of saturation to deeper to, more harsh. So it depends on the kind of flavor you want. You don't have to reach out for, 6 different saturation plugins. It's all in there. You might find a flavor that you might like. Then we also have a bus compressor designed specifically for dense material, where you've got kick drums and snares and maybe a bass going all to one channel, or single instruments. So it's designed for that with full control. Then below that we have a limiter which can really bring up the sound and slam your mix with a particular sound if you need that kind of loudness. And then we have a stereo expander. So stereo expander is really awesome. We work very hard to give you a 3-band expander which is mono compatible. So as much as you might want to spread the image, it's going to stick in mono. It also works on completely mono tracks or enhances stereo tracks. It's 3-band, so say you want your kick drum and bass in the center, but you want your pads and hats to expand in an entire mix, you can do so. Do go down to the website and download a free trial version of SlamXL. Try it out on your mixes. If you like it, great, keep it. If you don't, just throw it out, just delete the plugin, there's no problem. But do give us your feedback after you've tried it. So we'd be very happy to receive that from you. We wish you the best of luck in all of your endeavors, musical and otherwise. So this is Gaurav saying bye. I will see you in another video.